Hello, I'm Jim Flick, Director of Instruction for the Golf Digest Schools. In most games, the player reacts to his target while he's looking at it. Golf is also a target game, but the golfer cannot look at the target while he's in action. The things he must do to get to his target are done while he's looking at the ball. That's a big difference. Every phase of our Golf Digest School concept and program has been put together like good players play the game. That's feeling the swing and reacting to the target. Your game will improve dramatically if you will learn to react to the target. Remember, you see the ball, but your mind's eye relates to the target. Let's watch Bob Toski, Dean of Instructors for our Golf Digest Schools, a former great player on the PGA Tour, now enjoying himself and competing successfully on the Senior Tour, share with us what's in his mind as he prepares his club and his body to put the golf ball into the target area.
The target on the green is only the size of a mason jar. You've got to set the target in your mind, determine the direction, and how far you've got to go. Getting the ball to roll the right distance will be determined by solid contact and the speed and the length of your stroke. On your shot to the green, you've got a larger target, the green. You have to define that target and set it in your mind's eye. You want the ball to fly in a predetermined manner by controlling the club face through proper hand and arm control. Here we are on the tee. The same principles apply, only now your target is the landing area in the fairway. Here's my recipe for helping you reach that landing area. My eyes track into the target area. That allows me to aim my club face. Now I prepare my stance using my target line. I adjust my stance for desired ball position and weight distribution. I'll use the target line again to guide the path of my golf swing. You've seen me hit two different kinds of shots, each requiring a different angle of approach into the back of the ball. With the putter, I wanted to make contact with the bottom of my swing arc. With the short iron, I struck the ball with the club face still descending. Now, I want to hit the ball using a level to a slightly ascending angle of approach.
The number one word in a golfer's mind prior to swinging the golf club should be simply the word swing. It will get his mind and body prepared for the act, and he should actually visualize the swinging of the golf club as it relates to the grip end and the head end of the club swinging freely, to identify the rhythm of the motion. And to accomplish that sense of movement, I would ask you that you work on your grip to hold the club lightly enough that you can feel the weight in the head of the club. There's not one grip that fits every golfer because their hand size and grip strength will vary. But in general, we would like for the club to be in the fingers of the left hand enough that the thumb will be slightly to the right center of the shaft of the club, and the club will fit in the second joint of the middle two fingers of the right hand enough to put the club in the fingers to allow flexion in the wrist. Now, this position will vary as to your needs and your physical strength. The pressure with which he holds the golf club is extremely important to the player. He should be able to feel the weight in the head of the golf club throughout the whole golf swing. It may increase slightly as the speed of the club increases, but he should be able to feel the weight in the head of the club as it's swinging around his body and through the ball and over to the forward side. And thirdly, the precision with which your fingers are put around the club is extremely important to match up the bottom line of the club going right up the shaft, so that after your fingers and hands are around the club, that you don't find yourself in the wrong position with the club face. I'd like to define the responsibility of the hands, wrists, and forearms as they swing the golf club. The hands basically will cock, uncock, and recock. The left hand pushes downward while the right hand pulls upward to cock. Then your hands uncock and recock. Your wrists give you the flexibility to allow that to happen. And now let's discuss what the forearms do. Much as if you were putting your arms in front of you to shake hands with the ball, your right arm will fold as your arms swing backward and allow your thumbs to go into an upward position. Swing down and face the ball with the thumbs, so to speak, and over on the forward swing, allowing your arms to rotate and swing freely from side to side. And that by itself is not a particularly impressive move. I hit a 6-iron something like 160 yards, and those two little tapping actions only gave about 25 yards apiece, but when we tie them together, isn't it interesting that they're going to produce about 40% of the distance of my normal 6-iron. You will feel, as you swing back, your right elbow will fold while your hands are cocking. You'll feel your hands uncock and recock, squaring the club face, and you'll feel your left elbow fold on the forward swing. So it's cocking and swinging, and you can strike your golf ball considerable distance with minimum effort. That's what is the heartbeat of the golf swing, helping you sense the feeling of the weight in the head of the club as it swings in and around and down and through your golf ball. Again, the purpose of your hands, wrists, and forearms is to create speed through flexibility and motion and to square the club face. There's a couple little drills that we use at the schools that are interesting to develop more sensitivity and feel. And one is to put a T in the end of the shaft. Grip down on your club so you can comfortably feel the weight in the head of the club. Then swing the club back just far enough that your wrist cock puts the grip into the shaft, pointing to the ball. Swinging down, and then again pointing the T on the forward swing side back to the position the ball was setting on the tee. One more time. The T to re-tee drill might very well be your number one drill to identify sensitivity for the swinging of the club. To square the club face up, get maximum speed, and that brings an interesting point. Most of the people wanting distance relate to power and effort. No, distance comes from club head speed and center face contacts. You don't need a lot of effort. You need the flexibility and freedom to swing the golf club. Another drill that we use that looks hard but really is kind of fun and isn't so very difficult is the chair drill. It emphasizes the use of your hands. And I need a 3-wood. I would suggest a 3-wood to start with. Sit on the right front corner of the chair. Feel as though you're reaching slightly for your golf ball and you can almost hide your right leg. Choke down on your club just a little bit and pretend you're driving your car. You're going to strap yourself with your seat harness in so that you can't jump around. And now my hands, wrists, and forearms are merely going to swing the club around and behind me and strike my golf ball a fairly good distance with minimal amount of effort. Hold the club light enough that you can feel the weight in the head of the club. Let it swing and find the golf ball. I'm still facing the tee, which indicates a maximum amount of hands, wrists, and forearms and swinging the head of the golf club. The second swing is another swing. The swing of the arms freely from the shoulders. Not with the shoulders, but swinging the arms freely from the shoulders. It will look something like this. We are now adding the length of our swing of the club back a little further with our upper arm swinging freely from the shoulders to give us a full motion. If I try to make my shoulders control my swing, I have something that looks very tight and very tense, so I must have the swing of the arms to turn the shoulders. Bob Toski's made a lot of contributions to teaching the game of golf. I feel his most significant is helping us understand that the swing of the club through the hands and arms freely turns the shoulders. A turn will not create a swing, but a swing will create a turn. Again, the swing of the arms around and back a little further. My hands and wrists are still cocking, so let's add the second component of our total golf swing, and we're going to see more distance develop simply by swinging the club not harder, not more powerfully, but simply longer and more freely. So I've added another 60 yards or so to my swing, and now that 6-iron's going about 120 yards with simply the first two components of my swing being the swinging of the club head through my hands, wrists, and forearms, now transporting the swing back and around my body further to give more freedom in the motion. And now I will have my arms swinging 180 degrees almost, going back, and now through 180 approximately, but my shoulders are only turning 90. My body turns, but it's in response to the swing. The purpose of the second swing is for transportation of my hands, wrists, and forearms, and to give my motion a sense of rhythm and freedom. We have a couple drills, as you might imagine, to help you develop better feel for what your arms and hands are doing. And as I was hitting some of those shots with my feet almost together, I will try to do that again. And as I do that, the body effort is diminished, but the swinging effort is increased as my hands and arms swing. For those of you that tend to slice the ball because your shoulders will not allow your arms to swing freely and go right on past you with the club head releasing and squaring up, we have a drill we call back to target. Measure out and take your regular starting position, locate your left shoulder as your fulcrum point, then turn backwards. You still want to sense and feel the club swinging in your regular path behind you and down and strike the ball over your finish. So I've got to make the same swing as I would in my regular position, feeling the club swing freely up with my hands and arms, down, through, and over, letting the club release and go right on past me. The purpose of this drill is to get the feeling that your arms and hands are swinging the club down without your body interfering and turning past the ball first, which tends to make the grip end get way ahead of the club head and slice your ball to the right. I still must sense the swinging action of the club in its normal path, in its normal position, as the club swings and goes past me very freely with my first two components. I'll lace this one for you. That's solid and that's fun, to feel the swinging of the club through your hands, wrists, forearms, and upper arms swinging freely from your shoulders. We are now ready to add the third component to our swing, and that is the pivot, the movement of the feet, the legs, and the torso to support the two swings. In its rawest form, it'll look something like this. I spread my feet into its regular position, and then I feel my feet and knees move to support and turn in harmony with the swinging of my arms. When I watch a really good player, what I see is the body turns in harmony with the swinging of the club. They can sense how fast they should move their body related to what the club is doing. Less effective players are trying to make the body move the club, and that's out of sequence and out of importance. We have, again, the movement of the feet and the knees to turn the hips, while the swinging of the hands, arms, and club turns the shoulders. So, let's put it together, and presto, let's see what we have. Feet and legs turning and moving to support the swinging of the arms, and you'll see my right hip turn as long as the club is swinging backwards. That allows my arms to stay very flexible and to feel the club as it swings. Again, the pivot gives us about 20% of the distance we hit our golf ball. The pivot is very important, but for the purpose of support and give assistance to the two swings. Again, it will look like so. My feet, legs, and hips turn to support the swinging of the club and my arms. And a little more definition about how the parts of the body move to pivot. We would see on the backswing that the lead foot would roll inward, the heel coming upward, as the knee points to the right of the ball and backwards, while the right hip is turning out of the way. Then the forward swing, the feet will go to the ground again, the weight will move to the outside of the left foot, to the inside of the right foot, and our knees will shift our weight forward and our hip will turn around us to support the swinging of our arms in the right swing path on the forward swing. Again, the feet and knees would like to turn the hips to give you a lot of agility and freedom. The hands and arms would like to swing to turn the shoulders. Then those parts can be synchronized to help you feel the swinging of the golf club. Again, the purpose of the pivot is one of weight shift and support so your arms and hands can stay flexible enough to give you speed and solid ball club contact. We have some drills that will help you develop efficiency in your pivot. The first we use is a step-in drill. Ask you to tee your ball slightly off the ground. Take your regular starting position. Then you will move your left foot to your right foot, the club in front of your eyes. If you leave the club behind the ball, your shoulders will get too open and throw you out of position. Then you swing and turn freely to the top, then step back as a baseball swing, then feel your arms swing.